He operated in the dark underbelly of society. He associated with hardened career criminals, gained their trust, socialized with them, befriended them, and shared the life they lived, all while gathering the intelligence required to send them to prison. It took immense physical courage to step into the lion's den every day, not knowing if it would be his last. The mental pressure that resulted from leading this double life, living on the edge, was another tough battle he fought every single day. Deep Cover, written by Shay Doyle with Scott Hesketh, is the phenomenal true story of the life of Shay Doyle himself, a British level 1 undercover police officer, and how he took down Britain's most dangerous gangsters. While the story is 100% true, the name Shay Doyle is not. This is the memoir of a man who was brave enough to risk his life for decades, but now cannot risk revealing his true identity for the safety of his family and the people he worked with. Let's switch on the reading lab. Hello, Miss Avery, and on this channel, The Reading Lamp, I review books and talk about reading in general. Let's take a look at the details of today's book.
Facts and Figures.
Deep Cover is True Crime, a memoir written by Shay Doyle with Scott Hesketh. The book was published in August 2022 by eBerry Press, an imprint of Penguin Random House, India. 322 pages long, the book is available in paperback, Kindle, and audiobook formats. Make sure not to miss the Lightbulb Moment section ahead in the episode where I talk about the audiobook. I'll leave a link for buying the book in the first pinned comment and in the description below the video. Now, no spoilers, no worry. Just
The Cover Story.
Shay Doyle grew up in a tough Manchester council estate where drugs and gangs were everywhere, where policemen were greeted with graffiti that spelled PIGS. And talking to a policeman was considered to be a betrayal. It would have been easy for Shay Doyle to take to a life of crime. So it went against everything that was expected of him when he joined the police. It wasn't long before Shay's innate talent and ability caught the attention of the top brass. He was called upon to join the secret Level 1 undercover unit Omega. He was given a new identity, and his DNA and fingerprints were removed from the national database. He became a secret weapon in the police's fight against organized crime. In a distinguished career spanning 17 years, Shay led numerous covert operations tackling high profile murder cases and came face to face with some of Britain's most dangerous gangsters, often risking his own life. A life that was lived in the shadows, where a single mistake could have had lethal consequences. Let me tell you why this has been one of the most thrilling books I've ever read, that too a true story.
Speaking My Mind.
The writing is exceptional. One, the language is simple and direct. He writes the way you would expect him to speak. There is an immediate connect between you and the author because it is the raw, unfiltered story straight from an undercover cop. 2. The timeline is straightforward. Imagine how complicated the life of an undercover cop must be. Yet there is no confusing back and forth in the book. He starts with his childhood years and goes forward from there. It helps you to understand how the various cases unfolded and how different events affected him and how he evolved over the years. 3. The narrative is fast paced and gripping. Just as his life was perpetually on the edge, the book keeps you on the edge all the time. 17 years of Shay Doyle's undercover work are summed up in 300 pages. He spent months and, in some cases, years developing his cover and infiltrating gangs. Yet he manages to tell the story in minimal words without compromising on the facts or the entertainment aspect of his storytelling. 4. The authenticity of the story. The rigorous selection process, the brutal training that an undercover officer has to go through, police procedures and methodology, actual cases, the aftermath of the cases. This is a behind the scenes look at covert policing that can only come from someone who has been there and done that. 5. The psychological depths of the writing. Doesn't it happen to you that whenever you read about extremely brave exploits, you wonder why would anyone do that? What makes someone risk their life for something that doesn't even directly affect them? Besides the action, this memoir explores the emotional aspect of living a double life: paranoia, identity shifts, mental trauma, and the mental cost of justice. You also read about the politics within the department, the ego trips, and the frustrations that arise from the tussle between armchair officialdom and hands on fieldwork. Shay Doyle is brutally honest about his motivations, his emotions, and his mistakes. In one case, Shay Doyle worked at a comparatively tame posting where he busted a burglary racket. Now, burglary doesn't seem to be as threatening or high profile as murder or drug dealing, but it mattered to him because, in his own words, while stolen goods can be replaced, what cannot be replaced is the feeling of safety in their own homes that is lost by the victims. It bothered him that a frail old woman who gets burgled would henceforth be afraid of opening her door to anyone. It tells you that besides courage, it is empathy and an innate sense of justice that drives a good law enforcement officer. Now, let me tell you about the thing I did with the audiobook that made it one of the best reading experiences of my life. Lightbulb Moment. I originally planned to listen to the audiobook because I was pressed for time. I bought it, downloaded it, and put it on. The minute I began listening, I literally went, huh? The audiobook has been narrated by Christopher Coghill, who speaks in a very strong Irish brogue. The thing is, Shay Doyle has Irish roots. So Coghill's narration is actually a perfect match for the book. But I wanted to listen to the book on the side while doing my chores, and it was impossible to do that. I found that I needed to sit down and focus on his voice if I had to understand what he was saying. But I was enthralled by his narration. So then I bought the paperback and listen to the audio while following along in the actual book. It felt like a private, dramatic storytelling performance just for me. It feels like Coghill actually channels Shay Doyle through his narration. It is one of the best audiobook performances I've ever listened to. I'm going to play you a short clip from the book while running the lines from the book on the screen so you get exactly what I mean. This is the part of the story when Shay Doyle goes for the selection process for undercover officers. Most applicants think they are applying to be James Bond and have no clue about the ground reality of covert policing. In the story, another pair of police officers who are a married couple have also come for the selection process. And they think a real life couple going undercover together as a couple would be a great idea. Listen to this.
One bloke sat next to a woman in the front row, raised his hand. Question went something like, "We're a married couple. Wouldn't it be great if you could have a married couple working undercover together?" Fucking idiots, I thought to myself.
It is so hilarious, especially the effing idiots, is so heartfelt, both from Shade Oil and the way Coghill says it, that it literally had me rolling on the floor. There are many places where Shay Doyle surprises you with humorous asides and comments that you would never expect in a book on such a serious topic. That is another reason for the appeal of this book. I'm telling you, this is one book that is worth listening to just for the stupendous job done by the narrator Christopher Coghill. But the best way would be to listen and follow along with the book because I, for one, struggled to understand his strong Irish bro. Now, let's look at the Linescape rating of today's book.
LINEDSCAPE Rating.
Up there is a link to a video that explains how my Linescape book rating system works. All the parameters of today's book are rated 9 or 10 because it's an outstanding book, except for characters, which is rated 8. The overall score is 93 over 100, which translates into 5 solid stars. Now it's time to put my thoughts.
In a nutshell,
Deep Cover by Shay Doyle and Scott Hesketh is the true story of a British level 1 undercover officer who took down Britain's most dangerous gangsters. It's a well written, thrilling, fast paced story, which is all the more appealing because it is completely true. A special mention of the audiobook is also necessary. It's one of the best narrations I've ever come across. My recommendation would be to listen to the audiobook as you read along. The narration enhances the reading experience manifold. Whether you read or listen or do both, please do not miss this exciting 5-star true crime memoir. If you liked this episode, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell icon, and share with your friends and family. Do visit the Reading Lamp every week for a fresh book review. This is Asavri signing off for now. Have fun under the Reading Lamp. Switch on, read on.